Welcome to TomGirl, where we talk all things sports, entertainment, fashion, and adventure. And tonight, we got another great one for you. We have singer, songwriter, and member of the pop music group, The Network, Danielle Kinoshita. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, welcome, Danielle.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Your music, so great, so fun.
Thank you.
Let's just start by, how did you get started in music?
I started playing music when I was in high school. I used to play like in a worship band, like at church. And then I started writing songs in college because I was a music major in college. I studied music at San Francisco State. I'm from the Bay. And then I moved here recently to pursue songwriting more seriously. So I've been writing for a while.
Yeah. What did you first discover that you just, loved music and that was kind of your calling?
It's really the only thing I've ever wanted to do. Like, it's the only thing I've ever considered, like, as my passion. And I think, like, everyone can relate to that. You just have that one thing that you just love. Like, it brings me the most joy ever.
So now, tell us about what you've been working on here, because you're in the group, The Network. So what's new with you guys?
Our latest single is No Chase. That's what we just dropped. The song that I wrote and the guys produced. Something exciting happened. World Star put us on their Snapchat as New Artist of the Week. Woo-hoo! So, yeah, that was really exciting. We got a few more eyes on us and ears, so that was great.
And with some of your other songs, you've had extreme success on Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify. So that was our second single today. We just dropped that, and then it was like a huge surprise, but Spotify added us to a bunch of playlists, and we got like 100,000 plays like within the first couple weeks, and it was just like, it was so unexpected because usually that's something that like people on labels get. That's but it just happened to us. We're like a brand new group, and we just put it out and they added us, so that was awesome. Yeah,
that's something I think people want to hear more about. How are you guys doing this without having a label behind you and finding the success?
Well, basically, it's funny that like our song is called No Chase because that's really like we aren't chasing labels. Like, we are just making music and using the network that we have around us, the people that we meet. Like, for example, like I met Ryan in college. That's what I know him from. I met Stans, who's in our group. I met him through Ryan. So we've just kind of like been working through our own connections and putting it out there, and then it's really been successful just on our own accord.
So tell us more about the personalities of the group and the characters and how you met the others and how you guys all decided to come together for this.
Yeah. So, like I said, me and Ryan went to San Francisco State. We graduated from there. He moved down here, and I stayed in the Bay for a while. We both just like worked on music by ourselves, like writing, producing, sending them to other artists and kind of placing songs that way. And then we started writing together about a year ago. I started sending songs to Ryan, and he started collaborating with some other guys down here that I didn't know yet. And those songs were turning out great. They like had a good sound. So we were like, so I'm a writer, they're producers. Instead of doing this independently, like I was writing for people, they're producing for people, we decided to become an artist, a collective, and put out music.
How does it feel being the solo girl in the group?
It's cool. I don't even like think about that too much, but it's cool. I definitely bring a different energy than they do. Like, I write very like girly and sappy lyrics, but they kind of bring their own energy to it and make it more like a little bit harder, you know? Give it some edge.
I've read that you guys have been described by some people as similar to like the Black Eyed Peas. Would you agree with that, or how would you describe your sound?
I wouldn't say that we sound exactly like them, because we definitely know we have different sounds, but I think like the three guys one girl thing that makes you like draw a comparison to that. We definitely have like feel good music like them. All of our songs are very like, they have a very pop, high energy sound. So I think in that way we're similar to them.
How did, when you started seeing all these reactions on Spotify and seeing the numbers go up, you remember what like thoughts and things were going through your head?
Yeah, that was like just a very pleasant surprise because I don't think about those things too much. Like personally, I don't worry about numbers that much. I just put things out. I try to get better as a writer. So yeah, it's like, it's nice to see those things though. It gives you confidence. It like, it's a payoff. It's very, satisfying.
The song No Chase is the single that you said was on World Star Hip Hop Snapchat.
Yeah.
How did that song come together? What was the inspiration?
No Chase, I think I wrote that maybe like over a year ago, but I wrote it to a different beat that was on YouTube. And it kind of sounded like Taylor Swifty. It totally doesn't sound that way anymore. But it had a totally different vibe. So I sent it to them, and they took my vocals off and like flipped the whole beat and made it a dancehall beat, which sounded like way more modern, way more like the things that are on the radio right now. So yeah, that's how that one came about. Yeah.
What's kind of the next plan for the group? Where do you guys?
The next plan, we want to collaborate with a lot more artists because I mean, that's kind of the meaning of our name, the network. That's how we differ from other artists. We're writers and producers. Not all artists always write and produce everything that they put out. We do like 100% of everything. So we want to feature a lot more artists, reach out and find like dope singers to feature on our next songs because we have some demos ready and we just want to reach out to some more people and kind of like grow our network. So I think that's what's next.
What's next? And how do you like that process of just kind of being involved in every aspect then?
I love that because I feel like completely in control of my art right now and of like any money that we make, honestly. Like we don't worry about those things. Like I said, like I don't worry about numbers. I don't like stress about those type of things. I just worry about becoming a better creative.
You talk about placement. I know some of like your things you've done before, you said you've gotten placed. Has that been in like commercials or television shows, or where have some of those things been placed?
I've placed with some like independent underground artists for a couple like R&B singers, and those ones. So I placed a song with this girl named Anna Lou. It's a song called Body Movin', and that one got like I think 100,000 views on YouTube, and like I got a couple royalty checks from that one, and that was when I was just making music like a few years ago in my bedroom. So that was like, okay, you could do this, you know, like that was like a nice thing to happen. And then another one similar, like a girl named Samara. She's an R&B singer, and I placed a song with her called Dancing on You. These are all on like Apple Music and Spotify and everything. But yeah, that's kind of what I was doing. I was just making music in my room and then sending it to whoever and asking them to sing it. And they were like, yeah, sure.
So when you say make it in your room, because I heard that you did your first EP, you said you did that all and you produced in your room as well. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I still do that. Yeah. That's like primarily how I write. Like I have my own setup at home. I have like my laptop. I use Logic to record. And I have my microphone. I just moved into a new apartment, so we have a 2-bedroom. I moved in with my girlfriend, so we have 2-bedroom, and I have 1 room for my studio now.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a very solitary thing for me, writing.
And then how do you do all the instrumentals and everything else that goes with the track?
I leave that to the producers, basically. So that's why I always write to whatever, because after that you can change the beat or whatever. So actually a lot of producers like to reproduce things. So I write to whatever I can find, even if it was like me playing the piano or whatever, but mostly like beats I can find on the internet, and then send that to someone else and then have them like improve on it, basically.
So what are some tools for people that are maybe trying to do this as well, like that you use at home, or things that you've learned, or tricks?
Well, there's like, I know that there's free programs. There was like this young girl that I was talking to recently, and it was like so impressive because she was learning to record basically like what I do on Logic, but Logic is a program you have to pay like a few $100s for. But she found a free one, and she's like this high school girl, and she was learning to record all this stuff. And I had like bought her a microphone, but then she took it upon herself, you know, to get the free program online. So there's stuff like that you could do, but everything you just have to like self-educate, basically. You have to like want to do it. If you have like the will to do it, you'll find the tools on the internet. Like really.
The internet is great, isn't it? Nowadays
really is
for learning
the best
anything.
thing.
Yeah. So let's talk about your independent career. So what is the decision to, when you were ready to make your first EP, Guiltless Pleasure?
Guiltless Pleasure?
Yeah.
Oh, that was when okay, so I was just writing. That was when that was like 3 or 4 years ago or something. But I finally felt like I had like grown as a songwriter, and I wrote some stuff that I was like kind of proud of, so I wanted to put it out. So I picked like 4 songs that I thought were my best, and then I came up with a name for it, and then I like picked the artwork. And that's what we do now. Like we do every aspect of the project, like the artwork and everything. That's what I like to do. Like I like all things that are creative. So
you're designing it too? So.
Yeah, I like to do all of that. So yeah, that's what I did with that one.
How'd you come up with the name?
Guiltless Pleasure. It was because pop music is my guilty pleasure. I like the cheesiest of pop music like possible, like all boy bands, like Justin Bieber, all of it. And I'm like shameless about it, so I called it Guiltless Pleasure.
I love it.
Yeah.
What did how did that kind of your decision to like, I'm just going to do this myself, and like kind of take your career by the, what am I trying to say? Like, by the horns. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. And just kind of do it yourself and make these things happen. Can you kind of walk us through how you've decided to do that?
I feel like it's just like, I'm a person who believes in like fate or that type of thing. And I feel like there's almost like a fire inside me. Like I just have kept going and kept going. Like everyone who does music has experienced disappointment, knows whatever, but like if you're meant to do this, that won't stop you. Like it just won't stop you. And also like there's also been a lot of payoff along the way, these like little moments that happen, like someone you respect tells you that they like your song, whatever, Spotify adds your song to a playlist, and that kind of like keeps you going along the way. And I feel like that always happens right when you're like ready to give up, and it's just like, oh
yeah, the universe giving you a sign. Keep going.
Yeah, like it just always happens that way, and like I've accepted it. Like, I'm just stuck in this forever.
What have been some of the challenges that you've faced?
Some of the challenges, I feel like things just never go at our speed. Like, we just always want our careers to be farther along. But I think that's like, I don't know, that's all of us.
Everybody, yep.
But I've definitely grown, and I've learned to accept that, though. Like, everything like will happen in the timing that it's meant to happen, you know? So I don't know, I'm a very like easygoing person in that aspect. Like I'm like, go with the flow, like we're all on a journey. Yeah, it is true. I feel like it's all for a reason, like cheesy as it all sounds all the time, but you just are ready for things as they come, you know? Yeah. What are some of your like favorite artists or artists that you looked up to as you were growing up? My favorite artist, my favorite artist is Lauryn Hill. I'd say she's like my #1 favorite artist because Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is my favorite album. She's just an amazing like singer and rapper. I don't know how you can be both of those things, like so good at singing and so good at rapping. It's ridiculous. I've seen her live like several times, and she's great live too. Favorite current artists of today are Kehlani and Drake. That like Kehlani's from the Bay, just love her, love all her music. Same with Drake. Like I think they both have like really long catalogs of just like really good songs, and like I love that in an artist when you can just put them on shuffle and all their songs are good. And they're also both like really good writers, more involved in the writing than I think a lot of other artists are. Yeah.
And then what is it that you kind of love most about music?
What do I love most about
or
music? Or
playing music, or just having this as your career?
Well, I mean, it just gives you such a good feeling. Like, music is just the soundtrack to our lives. I think, who said that? I think Clive Davis might have said that. But it's just, like, makes everything better. Like, it makes driving in the car better. It makes, like, holding someone's hand and walking with it. Like, just it sets the mood for everything. Like, if music like didn't exist for a day, you would really notice it, and life would suck a lot more.
I agree with that.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So I just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really can. Just, I mean, it brightens your day.
Yeah.
When you're sad, it gives you comfort.
Like that's why it sucks to forget your headphones going to the gym, because like not having music, it's really like, it's crazy.
Trying to do that treadmill without headphones is a long time.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's crazy. People don't understand why artists don't want to get paid, or like they don't want to give their music away for free. It's because it's worth something. Like, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah. How do you feel about the way the music industry has kind of shifted over time now with some of those issues?
Well, I feel like there's artists like Chance the Rapper, and he's really like, and a lot of other artists like him are outsmarting like the labels and stuff. Like, everyone's learning to do it on their own, and that's a good thing. But like, yeah, like, I don't know, I encourage that, people just doing things on their own and not being like controlled by other people, I guess. But I mean, labels are not like an evil thing at all, but there's a lot of like independent artists that are coming up, and that's exciting.
I know we started to touch on this, but since you brought that up again, what would you say some of the ways that you guys have figured out to do this more without having a label supporting you?
You just have to do it. Like, that sounds like repetitive, but you just have to do it. Well, first you have to like really concentrate on the music and make sure it's good. I think that's like the most important thing that people forget about nowadays. Like, everyone just thinks they can jump to being someone by, I don't know, going viral or something. But that's what the advice that I will give people, is just to work on your craft, or work on what it is. Like, be able to answer the question, what do you bring to the table? So, yeah, work on like music first.
Yeah. What do you guys say you guys bring to the table?
Good music. That's what
quality.
We do. Yeah, and I think like we're trying to put things out one single at a time right now, and really make it like fun when we drop it. We're gonna put out a video soon, and I think that's gonna add something to us dropping music. We're gonna try to make it just like really visually pleasing and exciting. So,
So you're gonna have that shoot coming up, or have you shot it already?
I think we're gonna have a photo shoot, and then later, maybe like in a couple months, we're gonna do the video. Yeah.
That's awesome. Lots of good things to come from. Yeah. So speaking of the gym and treadmills and things, we like to talk about a little bit about what makes you a Tom girl here on this show. Are there's like, what would you say makes you a Tom girl?
I would say, well, I used to play softball from when I was really young, like 10 years old up until high school. So that was a thing where you like slide and get dirty, and I think I was considered a Tom girl a little bit because of that, because everyone knew that I played for a long time. I actually went to the World Series for Little League, the Little League World Series when I was like 11. It was great.
Do you remember where you played?
Yeah, because it was like for all-star Little Leagues, and we went all the way to Washington. Oh, no. We ended up in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. And that's like the televised Little League World Series. But then, yeah, it was fun.
That's great. That's awesome. What would you say? Would you say some of that sports side, or what parts of your personality then do you kind of really think you bring into your music? I know you said you're a little more emotional than the guys that you're working with, but what other qualities do you think?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the word, emotion. I think everything I write about has to just do with emotions. Like, I don't keep any of my emotions in. So I write a lot about love and all that. But I've also written, like, songs for the club and whatever. But when I'm emotional, I just try to be vulnerable and real and say something that everyone can relate to when their like heart is breaking. So yeah.
When do you feel like your like writing is most inspired?
I would say either when I'm really sad or really happy, because those are the two kinds of songs that I have, actually. I have like heartbreak songs, like Today, the one that's on Spotify that got added to the Spotify playlist. That one is a very sad, emotional song. Yeah.
Any other tips for people, or any other, I don't know, things maybe you wish you knew early on in your career that you now know and like look back and like, oh, I wish somebody would have told me that before?
That is a hard question, because I feel like I'm like in the middle of it, you know.
Still
I'm not
learning,
like even wise yet and I have to give some advice, but I would just say that you have to teach yourself everything and be proactive about that. Just like use the internet and everything that we have. Like, we didn't have that a few years ago, so use that and use everything to your advantage. And yeah, just don't quit.
And how do you feel about the environment of women in the music industry right now?
I think it could be better.
More women?
Yeah.
Or what do you mean by better?
I think like there's a lot of talk on social media right now about all the female rappers. They're like always pitting them against one another. Like, I don't know. I think we need less of that. And yeah, we do need more women.
And since you produce and do all of those things, there's not as many female producers, correct? Or is that?
There's
that
definitely
like...
not. I think there's more female writers, but there's not as many female producers. That is one thing that I wish there would be more of, because not that there's anything wrong with any of the guys I work with, but like, I wish there was more opportunities to work with female producers. It would be a way different vibe. I know they're out there. Just gotta hit them up.
Yeah. We had some on last week. One on last week too from Songland.
Yeah, all the writers.
So it's like, you know, and that's what they said too, is, you know, they're wanting to build that community more of women producers coming together and collaborating more and creating more work.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that you had like 3 writers, because I haven't seen an interview like that.
It was fun. Do you watch the show Songland?
Yeah, I've only seen like one of their episodes, but yeah, I love that show. It's so cool.
We love what you do. You know, it's so fascinating to see. Like, you were talking about how you send your song off and then they changed it and did all that. Like, it's amazing.
Oh yeah. They really show that process on TV, and you don't get to see that. Like, that's one thing, like, people have tons of misconceptions about how songs are made, and like it's so cool that they are showing that. Yeah, because we usually don't get that behind the scenes, you know, kind of look. Yeah. So are you, I know you said they changed your song stuff. Are you really open to when they switch your songs around and for new things, or? In general, I think I'm open, but I've totally, like, we've had disagreements. Like, I feel so strongly about things. Like, if I've written something and sent it to them, like, I feel strongly about it. So then when they want to change it, like, we've had disagreements, but I try to be open, you know. It's just creatives, like, it's hard with a bunch of those personalities.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think it would be hard. Yeah, because you're attached to it and it was coming from a certain place, you know, and you hear it a certain way. It'd be hard to let go.
It's funny. We laugh about it after, though.
What are, do you have a all-time, like, favorite song that you've done, or either solo or with the group?
It's hard to pick a favorite because they, like, all feel like your babies, but I feel like Today has, like, a really special place in my heart.
Fun song.
Yeah. Yeah, go listen to Today.
Tell everybody, where can they find all your music?
They can find all of our music on Apple Music and Spotify, SoundCloud, everywhere you stream music, basically. And we are on Instagram at We Are the Network. Network is NTWRK. And there's links to all of our music there as well.
All right. And then, I'm sorry, you say where they can follow you personally on
You can follow me at Danielle.Kinoshita. At Instagram.
Awesome. Well, the music's fantastic. I was listening to it in the car, you know, all this week listening. Yeah, and it really has such a great sound. I mean, both your solo work and the network stuff. So I'm excited to see what's next for all of it.
Me too.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in and taking the time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. That's it for tonight. We'll see you here next Tuesday where we have Jennifer Chan Garcia from Van Helsing. So see you next week. Bye-bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.